Hi, everybody. Welcome to Market Insight for the last trading week of August 2024. So we'll start with our normal top-down approach. Excuse me. We can see monthly is striving for higher prices. It's definitely overbought up here, and the long tail down this month, that long tail down. So high in the trend channel, that long tail down just suggests supply was present. We'll see that on the weekly. But right now, buyers are in control. And as I say, striving for higher prices. Let's take a look at the weekly chart. So we can see the supply that appeared in July right here, these 3 weeks and into the first week of August. Then heavy buying steps in that first week of August, right? So there's 3 things to note here on the weekly. The first is the key reversal bar. That's this bar right here. Sellers continued to sell the market down, right, into the early part of that week, but buyers stepped in towards the end of the week and bought in force, right? We get a nice widespread up bar closing on its highs with strong volume, right? Very bullish, very bullish. Notice too that the close is clustered with the prior week. The meaning here is that all the selling on this week was completely erased by the buyers. Over the course of the week, sellers took it down, right? They were able to take price down to new lows over the prior weeks, but they were unable to hold it. And they lost their position. And they lost all the ground of their position that they made because buyers pushed price back up and closed the market equivalent to the prior week's close. So for all of the selling that week, it all got erased. And that's the second thing to notice. The third thing to note is that we close back up above this key 53.33 resistance level. It's actually an access line. You can see that it held the market in check back here in late March and early April. It again held it in check throughout the month of May. And then we overcome that resistance after coming back down through it on the close. So very bullish for all of those reasons. And we would expect follow through to the upside. And of course, that's exactly what we got. The next week, we get a strong bullish up week. And then this last week, we've extended it even further. Now, we see obvious shortening of the thrust, right? And also obvious light volume. But look at what we're doing. This is where the supply, this is where the selling started after we had come down to this level, then we pulled back, and then the selling started in earnest, driving the market down in late August or mid-August into, mid-July into early August, late July, early August, right? This is where that selling started. And we've been able to overcome that. Now, look at the amount of volume that was there, right? We got all of this selling. Sellers are in control, no question about it. Selling is dominant. So now we come up here and we're able to overcome that on light volume. What does that mean? What it means is that that there's hardly any selling left, that the market is able to, David used to say, the market is able to levitate up without much effort because the selling got all absorbed down in here on this high volume. So that's what we're seeing here on the weekly chart. So again, a little bit of shortening of the thrust, but buyers are in control. Let's take a look at the daily chart. So the daily shows an awful lot of strength, right? This is Look at this, 8 days up, straight up, and then we get into this little bit of congestion and we're holding gains up in here. So as I say, a lot of strength. The week before this past week, we broke the 5,500 level and also the daily supply line. So look at the bullishness here from the prior week. We have the daily supply line, that's this red line here, plus the 5502 was support on July 2nd, actually. And there was a lot of trading around here and then a lot of trading in here. So we would extend that over. And this should have been pretty strong resistance, but the market just whipped right through it, no problem. All right, so lots of strength. And then this week, we continue up here, overcoming that supply. This is where what I was talking about earlier on the weekly. This is where the sell-off into late July, early August. This is when it started in earnest. And we're able to overcome that very easily on light volume. And now we've been testing it the last couple of days here, Thursday and Friday of last week, okay? So currently we're trying to negotiate the old pocket area back over here, right? This is where we are. We're right in the pocket area, and we're trying to negotiate that. So let's look at let's look more carefully at the daily here and do a little bit of tape reading. So Monday, let me get my pen out. Monday is this day here, Monday. And we open the week pushing prices up higher and closing above this supply bar over here, the one that started the last leg of the down move here, and pushing up over the top of that and pushing up into pocket resistance, right? Tuesday, we get an NR 6-day. I color code these in this color, as you probably know. And it's the narrowest range of the last 6 days. And that's occurring after a pretty good run up, right? We had, I think, 8 days straight up, and then we get an NR 6-day. So the market's pausing here and is vulnerable to a pullback, no question about that. But we're also strongly bullish. So we're not expecting a big pullback, at least not at this point. Wednesday, we get another narrow range day. It's not an NR 6-day, but it's still fairly narrow compared to, the prior week's bars here. And again, we're pausing here, and again, we're vulnerable to a pullback, but we've got this bullish wind behind our back, so to speak, or in our sails. So despite the feeling, despite being vulnerable to a pullback, we've got a lot of bullishness here. So on Thursday, we push up higher and we're seeing the shortening of the thrust, no question about it, right? We're seeing that all week here. So we push up on Thursday, and after pushing up, what happens? Over the highs of Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we start to sell off, right? And so we have an outside down bar, outside the prior day's high and low, and closing down, right? And we see a little pickup in volume. So selling is showing up, right? We see selling. But that selling gets bought up on Friday, the next day. Friday's an inside bar or an inside day, that's true, but it closes firm and on the same amount of volume as Thursday, where the selling comes in, right? So what's happening here is that buying is trying to check the selling. Basically, we're in a trading range here, and that's what we're starting to see, is the buying is starting to try to overcome the selling. All right, so we'll come back to the daily in a moment. We'll look at it more carefully for what's on tap next week. But let's take a look at the major markets first. So we can see all of the markets are in sync. They're all bullish. The NAS is lagging, obviously, right? It's farther away from its all-time highs. And it's also, you can see the Dow is up above. In fact, it closes better than the others, right? We just talked about the S&Ps being an inside bar on Friday closing, and we see the Dow is stronger. So the blue chips are trying to lead us up. NAS, the techs are a little weaker here. So if the NASDAQ starts pushing above Thursday's high, then we're looking at the Dow and the NASDAQ should be making new highs as well. So that'll be a way to confirm if we are pushing up from new highs. But in general, we're all in sync here, and we're pretty bullish across the three markets. All right, let's take a look at for the coming week. Now I'm looking at this, and the sellers had the opportunity here on Thursday, or started the opportunity on Thursday. Tried to bring it down lower, but held right at that level, 55.85, 55.88 level. I think it went a little bit lower and then turned back up again. So for Monday, let's take a look, a little bit more detailed chart here than maybe what I usually do. Show you a little bit of what I'm thinking about. So throughout this is last week. Monday, we had that big rally up, and then Tuesday and Wednesday, the NR6 day, and then another narrow range day. Selling comes in on Thursday, and then we buy it on Friday. So throughout this week, we can see that the 56.30 level is really important. It's an access line here. It stopped the market generally at this level on Monday, that rally up on Monday. We traded around it on Tuesday overnight, and then dropped below, and it became, support Tuesday overnight, then it became resistance. Wednesday overnight resistance, and then we're trading through it on Wednesday in the American session. It becomes support. Support now on the overnight Thursday. We drop through it. It becomes a spot here for indication that the market's going to go down on Thursday. And that was the last point of demand here. And then again, on Friday, it started off as some resistance, and then we're trading around it again. So on Wednesday, let's look at the 15-minute chart. Here's the 56.30 level painted out in blue. Just in general, I'm kind of color coding my my charts. In black are the daily highs and lows. So this is Friday's high and Friday's low in black here. Friday's high and Friday's low. It came in a little earlier. Then key support and resistance levels would be in blue, right? And then overnight, we don't have the overnight on here because the overnight hasn't happened yet, but I put those in orange. And then key levels here, like this is a key level for us for next week, where if it breaks, our picture changes from bull to bear, or from buying to selling. We turn bearish, and so I just highlight that in magenta. Anyway, enough of the color coding. You get the idea here, right? So for Monday, watch 56.30 level, right? As I say, it's been important throughout the week. So if we come in Monday morning and we've been holding between 55, 50, 56, Friday's high, if we've been holding between 56.65 area, 56.62, whatever that is, and 56.30. So if we haven't been doing much in here, right, we've been kind of holding the overnight, look for a flush down to 56.30 and then maybe back up. And you can see that the 40 level here, it has been important on Friday, and it's been important during the course of the week, earlier during the week as well. So maybe we, if ideally the bigger, the really bullish kind of scenario for Monday is that we're holding high and holding our gains high up in here. And then we come down maybe flush to 56.30 and then recover 56.40. Then I'd be interested in buying in here. Okay, so that's one possibility. I'd also be interested in a flush down below Friday's low, right? Maybe a flush of the low, which was 55.97, and then a rally back up to the afternoon low here at about 56.05, 56.04, something like that. So that would be, and 56.04 has been a key level of support again, actually going back for weeks and a couple of months ago. So that level would be of interest. We flush down below or to Friday's low and then rally back up again, come back up above the noon hour low here on Friday, which is around 56.03, 56.04, somewhere around there. And that would be a nice opportunity, potentially, if it sets up well. Now, targets to the upside are, first one up would be 56.75, then up to 56.95. We might get a pullback at that point, maybe come back in to try to retest Friday's high sometime in midweek. But I'm sensing that if we can break through this trading range that we started to develop here this week between 55.65 and Friday's low here, if we can break through that, then I think we're going to be heading up to the all-time highs to retest that, and possibly even up to new all-time highs, a target being around 57.80, 57.75, somewhere in that area as an initial target. So now, if we fail here on Friday, we fail at 55.85. That's a key level for us. And then we would be trading down to 55.40, maybe 55.30. See if we can pick that up on the daily chart. Yeah, so this level in here is our key level here. This is about 55, excuse me, 85, 88 in here, 55.88. So that's our key level. And you can see that it was resistance in here, and it had been resistance over earlier back in June, I think. In any event, if we break that, then the first level down is this access line here, right? That's 55.40. And if that fails, then we are likely coming back into this area here, 5,500, maybe even lower. But that's what I'm seeing. So generally bullish, looking for Friday's low to hold. Extremely bullish, we'd be looking for 55.30 to hold. And by the way, that's assuming we don't make a new high first in the overnight, Sunday night into Monday morning. If that happens, then those levels wouldn't be all that great. And then any break below here would take us down to our lows down there. Okay, so that's what we see for next week. And just as a reminder, we will have deep practice twice next week. During July, I had to be out for a bit, so we're making up, or maybe it was early August, I forget. But we're making up one of the earlier sessions on Monday, and that's going to be at our normal time at 8 o'clock. And then our usual deep practice on, oh, I got these times backwards, didn't I? I apologize, didn't do the 29th. This is wrong. So let's get a better color here. Yeah, apologize for that. It's August 29th. So We have Monday, the 26th at 8 o'clock and Thursday, the 29th at 8 o'clock. So I'll see you all Monday. Have a great rest of the weekend and a good trading week next week. And we'll see you Monday. All right, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.